Hello everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Northwest Quadrant Wealth Management e-News. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful spring day here in Central Oregon. It's not so beautiful in the equity market. Stocks are selling off today and they sold off yesterday. Interest rates are a little bit higher today. Actually, the yield on the 10-year Treasury is the high for the year. And so markets are sort of trying to digest the idea that interest rates are going to be higher for longer, and all of these interest rate cuts that markets thought we were going to get from the Federal Reserve in 2024 might not materialize. We might not get any interest rate cuts. And so markets are trying to digest that. There's sort of the push and pull of rates getting cut or not, and how markets are going to react to that. So we've obviously had an extraordinarily good run in the stock market since last October. Markets have gone straight higher. And so we're absolutely due for some volatility to the downside. I mean, this is not a surprise. It's not a surprise to Josh and I. The fact that interest rates probably are going to stay higher for longer isn't a surprise to Josh and I. And so what that means is there's an adjustment to valuations of certain stocks, and certain really risky assets that maybe shouldn't have the price that they're at. And so this volatility that we're seeing this week and we'll probably see in the future this spring, it shouldn't scare you. It shouldn't make you do some binary decision about getting in or out. It should make you stay the course. And one of the reasons that we're optimistic about staying invested is diversification. Diversification is sort of the only free lunch in the investment business, and it's working, and it's been working really since October, the low in October of 2022. So Josh can speak to the diversification and how it's finally working again.
Before I talk about diversification, it's always confusing when good economic news is interpreted as bad news by markets, which just means higher rates for longer. And we're sort of in one of those scenarios, and we'll have a pretty monumental jobs report on Friday, and a good number will probably lead to further increases in interest rates, which of course the market will take as bad news in the near term. But remember, over the long term, good economic data will lead to stronger earnings, and underlying earnings will drive higher stock prices. And stocks have done very well in interest rate environments that approximate what we're seeing today. But we've been heartened lately by over the last month, diversification finally working again. International stocks have really dramatically outperformed, and of course everyone's seen the performance in small caps and small caps value specifically just over the last couple of weeks. They're of course getting hammered today on those rate concerns, but we don't want to put the cart before the horse there. But diversification is working, the market rally is broadening, you're seeing really strong earnings growth among those sectors specifically. But we're sort of in this scenario again that we were back last November and October, where the market is laser focused on rates, and we don't see that ending anytime soon.
Yeah, so I guess the moral of this e-news is that the volatility that we're seeing just this week is probably to be expected. I mean, markets have gone really vertical and straight up and probably got ahead of themselves, and so we're certainly due for a pullback. But we're certainly optimistic for 2024, for the year. Last year we had a year where S&P was up 26%, but we had two really significant pullbacks. And so, if you stayed invested, you did fine. If you did something crazy and got out of markets, you didn't do so great. So stay the course. Remember, it's time in the market rather than trying to time the market. Is the way that you win. So if you have a question about your situation or your account, you can call us at the office, 800-743-0988, or email either one of us, Josh or Tyler, at northwestquadrantwealthmanagement.com. When we come back, we'll see you back here in 2 weeks.